Well, preparations are underway for the state and the nation to begin saying goodbye to former President Jimmy Carter. Let's get right out to my co-anchor, Jonathan Martin, who's joining us live tonight from the Carter Center. Jonathan, a place where so many people are expected to be tomorrow.
Absolutely, Faith, and we are just about 17 hours or so away from the official start of this state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter. It will all start south of us, about 140 miles south of Atlanta in Americus, Georgia, making its way to Plains, Georgia, his hometown, before coming here to the Carter Center tomorrow afternoon. This will really be the first chance here in Atlanta for the public to pay their respects when the president will lie in repose starting at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Now, Faith, we've been getting a closer look today at some of the really special and beautiful tributes for the former president, including this one from Habitat for Humanity, an organization that the president and his wife Rosalynn love so much. It really was a passion for the Carter family for years, decades in fact. The former president and his wife Rosalynn helped build thousands of homes over years all around the world. This was what they love to do, just volunteering, helping people in need. The organization is also honoring him with public memorials that started today. In fact, the public is invited to come out and sign the Carter Memorial door at two different Habitat Restore locations. You can go to the one here in Atlanta on Chester Avenue through January 9th, and that other location is in South Fulton on Old National Highway. You can sign that one from January 9th up until the 16th. Now, we know tomorrow's motorcade, Faith, will make several stops, including at President Carter's boyhood home, his boyhood farm, Plains, Georgia, a place that he was so proud to call home. And when they make a stop there, the National Park Service will be ringing a bell 39 times to honor our 39th president. Our Molly Oak has been in Plains today speaking with people there, including a man who once worked on Mr. Carter's campaign.
Most interesting events in the 1976 campaign.
The heart of the Carter campaign sits by the heartbeat of Phil Wise's hometown.
So it was not an impressive building, but a very functional one and important to the history and lifeblood of the little town.
From a train depot in Plains to Phil's new office.
And then in December 75, I became the last of 7 staff hired for the presidential campaign. And
Phil volunteered and worked with the former president for years over the course of Mr. Carter's political career.
And Mrs. Carter, she was always a big part of the campaigns and any work that was going on.
And while Phil knows people will be waiting in Plains to pay respects to the man they see as the former president, that's not how he sees the man he campaigned for.
When he taught Sunday school, I was a pupil for 4 years with him in Sunday school.
Their relationship in the church was the center of their last conversation.
I thought, well, I'm just going to tell him the volunteer work I'm doing now with my church, First Baptist Decatur. And I got through and thought, he's going to be so happy that I'm doing all this with the church. And he looked up at me from his lounge chair with that grin on his face. He said, Phil, I'm very worried for your church. that was the relationship that I had with Jimmy Carter, and I can't think of a more appropriate last conversation to have had with him than that story.
A storied life for a man with a smile almost as big as his heart.
And in Jimmy Carter, you saw a sermon every time he took up a hammer, or he went overseas, or he held out a malaria bed net, or he gave out a pill of Mectizan. That's the Jimmy Carter that you saw and will be remembered.
The man, he says, always practiced what he preached, and what a campaign to live by. In Plains, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
And after that stop in Plains, the president's motorcade and his remains will make their way here to the Carter Center. They expect to head toward Atlanta around 11:55 tomorrow, Faith, making their way here for an arrival ceremony, probably they say around 3 or 4 o'clock. Again, the president will lie in repose starting at 7 p.m. But again, all of this starting south of us near Plains and ending next week in Plains, where the president will be buried and reunited with his wife, Rosalynn.